EA Sports. It's in the game.
This is EA Sports coverage of the PGA Tour. Here at the TPC Scottsdale in Arizona, and Frank, when so many people tune in to watch this great event, they think immediately of the 16th hole with all of those fans jammed in. It's like Fenway Park inside the desert there, but it's much more than that little par 3, isn't it?
It certainly is more than that, Rich. The TPC Scottsdale is a great venue for a PGA Tour event. It's a blend of everything: birdie opportunities, holes that are fraught by water, bunkering that's been changed. All in all, it's a great atmosphere with nearly 500,000 people that visit this during the tournament week.
Now to the 10th hole. This a sharp dogleg to the right, Frank, a par 4.
Good way to start this second 9. Really, it requires a nice tee shot down the left. There's no real advantage to try and carry it over that bunker, the one that's situated on the corner. So if you respect it and go a little left of that, you're going to have something in the vicinity of 160, 150 yards left.
Looks to be a good setup going into the green here at the 10th. Setting up for an approach shot here. That should be pretty good right there. On the safe side. I mean, really on top of his game right now. That was a splendid approach shot. Locked in on the read and the speed.
Sneaking into contention here with that birdie.
Top 15 now on the leaderboard. Moving on to the 11th hole, Frank, water all along the left side, 472 yards. How do you handle this one?
Well, this one's weird because the tees are a little off-center. They start down the right side, which makes it into a dogleg. And you mentioned the water. It always comes into play. And there are 0 fairway bunkers. You don't need them here at 11 because really it's all about the tee shot. Find the fairway, then even though it's a long par 4, you should be able to at least attack that green safely. Miss the fairway to the right, which is the barrel outside, and your problems are just starting.
Early part of this back 9 and a good approach shot. And now we'll have this for birdie.
Really? This is an awkward length.
Oh my gosh, that hurts. Came to the putt, excited to make birdie. Now, settle for par.
Yeah, a little change in the attitude right now. When you've let one go, you've got to really knuckle down there and make sure you don't drop a shot. It's important this one goes in.
Nice par to remain 1 under. Par 3 12 may not be as famous as the par 3 16th, but Frank, you think this may be a tougher and even better hole?
We see more bogeys and double bogeys here on 12 than 16 will ever see, and courtesy of the water behind and to the right of this green. If you're going to bail out, find one of those bunkers. A good bunker player obviously can get it up and down, but it's still no snack trying to record your par 3 at 12.
Good, clean contact and a nice result. And a chance for birdie coming up. 15 feet away. Moves into the top 10 with that birdie. Par 5 13, Frank, what kind of scoring opportunity is this?
Well, anytime you get on a par 5, obviously birdies and eagles come to mind. 13's been changed a little bit over the years. The split fairway's gone, now it's just one fairway. Water in play, bunker on the left side, they certainly define this fairway. And they've toughened up the front and left side of this par 5 green. The longer hitter, the high ball hitter, still will get a reward at 13.
Not the longest, but not bad. 295 yards in the fairway. We'll settle. You wouldn't call that a miss hit, but it wasn't his best. That one just sort of drifted right and a long ways from the flagstick. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
Frank made this hole just a little bit harder hitting it into the rough.
I would say a lot harder.
He'll need to be strong with this. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Two under on the day. At the 14th now, it's a par 4.
And a dogleg left once again. The bunker on the left side is being pushed out to the fairway to really make you think whether or not you can carry that. It's a lengthy second shot because it's going to play a little bit uphill. And this green is well protected on the left side with the two bunkers. Got the measurement out there, Rich. Looks like 290 yards.
This is the second shot at the par 4. Good swing, good shot yet again. Midway through this back 9, could use this birdie here at the 14th.
It's at sneaky distance.
Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect. But it is going to hurt the cause.
With authority, count it as a par and 2 under. Second round coverage coming your way tomorrow. For our entire crew, I'm Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. So long for now. This is EA Sports PGA Tour coverage coming your way. Set in the Sonoran Desert and surrounded by the majestic McDowell Mountains, we're at the stadium course at TPC Scottsdale in Arizona. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo, set to bring you all the action for today's event. Frank, when you think about the TPC Scottsdale, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
The golf course has been radically changed in 2014, but it still hasn't lost its luster. Really, it's just been updated like the game itself for these young, strong players of the modern era.
Par 4 14th, and Frank, this hole packs a little punch, doesn't it?
Yeah, the addition of just a little bit more yardage, plus the bunker on the left has been pushed out into the fairway. It actually makes the whole play a little bit longer than its 490 yards. Second shot is a little bit uphill. No longer is there a bunker on the right side. That side of the green is actually open. You don't really want to be trying to miss that green on the right. Should you decide to go at the flag, well, you're going to have to carry that front bunker.
The second shot now to the par 4. Sit down. Get down.
Oh, this is gone.
Just averted danger right there. So close.
Why does he have all the luck?
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. And with that birdie, moving into the top 20 on the leaderboard. All right, Frank, now the fun begins. We are teed up at the par 5 15th hole. Plenty to talk about here.
Yeah, the fairway down the left side is anything other than straight. It's more like a shipwreck, the raggedness of it. And that water in play, well, if you do find one on the fairway, you can sort of always wave across to the people that are walking down the 11th hole. Find the fairway, you can reach this par 5 and 2. A little bit of an island-looking green there, bunker on the left, and also another bunker just short right. But a fairway missed here. Now you can rack up 5, 6, 7. We've seen all sorts of scores here at 15.
Second from an excellent lie. He's set up for his third shot here, looking to get it on the green with this. This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man. Par yesterday. Now for birdie. Good job right there. Now making a move and setting himself up for, who knows, a good weekend run, maybe at another title. The former college standout has been excellent today. 150 yards left to the flagstick here. Frank, it's not just a golf tournament at the TPC Scottsdale.
It's a party.
It's a giant throwdown, isn't it?
It certainly is, but the atmosphere works here. It just fits in. The players are aware of it. They're quite fun to play amongst it, too, because it's such a rare event.
And to be honest, a lot of the fans, and there were almost 180,000 on Saturday alone in 2013, a lot of the fans, they don't see a single golf shot. They're too busy having a good time, having a party. Needs a few more of those. That was a good birdie.
Yeah, this time that one gets him in the top 10.
Frank, 16 was fun. 17 is always exciting here at TPC Scottsdale.
You've got to be careful because that water that sort of goes around the left side of the green, if that ball's coming in with a little bit of hook, it's just going to keep going left. There's the one bunker you really have to focus on. That's the one in the middle of the fairway. 280 will carry that. Chances are the ball can run onto the green. It takes a brave man really to try and fly this ball all the way there. It's not really needed because there's always another 10 or 15 yards of run. Factor that in.
Oh, looked like he caught a flyer right there, Frank.
Well, I don't know what he caught, but this is way too much.
Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot. Maybe get away here with par.
So he didn't hit the green in regulation, but he still has a reasonably good chance to save his par, about 10 feet away. Has his par.
Rich, 18 was always considered a long finishing hole.
Not for J.B. Holmes.
Yeah, the water was always in play. And then the day he took it over the left side and carried everything and went on to win, that completely changed the way this golf course played ever since that day.
And it resulted in some of the changes we're seeing now.
Yeah, evidence, the new bunkering down the left side. But it showed us all how much and how strong these guys are, how much they've improved over the years.
And he's set up for his second shot here, looking to knock it on the green.
There's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
You can't hide the flagstick from that man.
He is just unbelievable. That never deviated offline.
Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. The player knows they're on the move with that birdie. Quick glance at the leaderboard. They can see, Frank, they're not out of it.
Things are very volatile right now.
Today's coverage brought to you by EA Sports and the PGA Tour. Welcome to the Stadium Course, TPC Scottsdale in Arizona. It's a masterful blend of challenge and playability designed by the team of Tom Weisskopf and Jay Moorish. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Novelo for EA Sports.
The changes, Rich, they made in 2014 have just added a luster to this great venue that hosts the PGA Tour event each and every year. And it's a great test for any level of play.
Now to the second par 3 on the front 9. This is the 7th hole.
Quite a stiff par 3 because of the narrowness in the front. Really favouring a higher shot that's going to land softly, and therefore you can open up that green, because the further back you go, the wider it gets.
Stuck the follow through right there. This could be really good. And to generate some momentum here at the 7th hole, just for birdie. See if he can go one better than yesterday when he made par. This putt for birdie. Came to the putt excited to make birdie. Now, settle for par.
Yeah, a little change in the attitude right now. When you've let one go, you've got to really knuckle down there and make sure you don't drop a shot. It's important this one goes in.
A good effort, a good par putt. Frank, the par 4 8th, this is a good hole.
It is a dogleg to the left. Forces the player to go out the right, and this will play every inch of its yardage, which is over 470 yards. Green's still pretty much the same with that false front, unless there's a flag position in the front. You're really going to have to fly at least 20 yards or so into that green, otherwise that ball is going to run towards the front. Oh, that's it. New member of the 300-yard club.
Good poke right there. Chance to set himself up for a good scoring opportunity with his second shot here. Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
This one just requires a little bit of focus.
Rich, it's been a very good workmanlike performance. Yet another birdie.
Into the top 15 on the leaderboard. Rounding out the front 9 with a par 4 of 453 yards from the back tee. Looks to be straight away here, Frank. Anything to be cautious about on this tee shot?
Well, that bunker, there used to be 2 bunkers down the right side. There is now 1, and it also pinches into the fairway, which almost makes this hole look like a faint dogleg right, but really the best line is still down the left side, so it still actually suits the draw off the tee. Green is slightly elevated and not very deep too, so judging that second shot, getting the right club is essential here at 9.
Yeah, about 145 yards left here. Superb shot.
It's as good as it's going to get. There's going to be no worries about making that one. Ooh, chance for birdie. All things pointed to a good week. Birdie there, very important right now.
Playing some good golf. Getting set now to start one of the most exciting back nines in all of golf on the PGA Tour here at TPC Scottsdale, beginning with the 10th.
If you stand on this green, Rich, and look backwards, you realize how severe this dogleg is. But from the tee side, it's a sharp dogleg to the right. It's actually a layup down the left side, and then a second shot around the 150, 160 yard mark in.
Looks to be a good setup going into the green here at the 10th. Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
Safely aboard. Birdie putt coming up. Had a par on this hole yesterday. Frank, all of a sudden, another player to factor in on this leaderboard.
Yeah, and things are starting to tighten up right now. Going to see where the next move comes from.
EA Sports is proud to present today's PGA Tour coverage. Simply put, there is nothing like it in the game of golf. It is by far the biggest spectator event in the sport. We're at TPC Scottsdale in Scottsdale, Arizona. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside my friend and colleague Frank Nobilo. And Frank, what can you tell us about this golf course?
Well, everybody wants to know about 16, the famed par 3 here, surrounded by those skyboxes. Once again, that'll be a topic of the day. But really, this is a regular sight for the PGA Tour. So those of you that were familiar with the golf course, it's now changed. 2014, the designers Morris and Weiskopf did a massive renovation.
Well over 100,000 fans every day, better than 500,000 for the week. It's a giant party mixed in with a heck of a tournament.
Got the measurement out there, Rich. Looks like 290 yards.
Playing his second shot here at the par 5. Excellent shot to within 10 feet. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. That was a good-looking putt, just not falling right now.
Sadly, he's going to be disappointed.
Now this for birdie, came away with par in the previous round. That's an important birdie right there, into the top 5 on this leaderboard.
Well, there's so much at stake this week, Rich.
Par 4 14th, and Frank, this hole packs a little punch, doesn't it?
Yeah, the addition of just a little bit more yardage, plus the bunker on the left has been pushed out into the fairway. It actually makes the whole play a little bit longer than its 490 yards. Second shot is a little bit uphill. No longer is there a bunker on the right side. That side of the green is actually open. You don't really want to be trying to miss that green on the right. Should you decide to go at the flag, you're going to have to carry that front bunker.
That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards.
Second shot.
Well, you can hear it right off the center of the club face. This has a chance to be close. Midway through this back 9, could use this birdie here at the 14th.
It's no snack, though.
Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, but it's going to hurt the cause.
That's a solid par. Still in it, Frank. Now at the par 5 15th, and Frank, there is plenty to catch your eye. There's also quite a bit to catch your ear. You can hear the roars at the par 3 16th. So how do you focus on the task at hand?
Great question, Rich. You know, you realize you're about to enter the stadium part of the golf course, but this is the last par 5 that you're going to play. We've seen eagles here over the years. We've seen many a player hit it in the water off the tee or water short of the green. Certainly one of the tougher tee shots coming in. No bunkers here to worry about, just that huge lake to the left. Find the fairway. You might just find the green.
Into the thick stuff, that's a difficult lie. Frank, out of the rough, best to swing a little bit easier or get after it with all you have?
Well, a little bit in between. Obviously, it's going to require a little bit of strength to make sure that club keeps going through, but it's still the planning of the shot. Once again, check short. Is there anything I have to carry? And even remember, there's always the option of just simply pitching the ball down the fairway and taking your medicine.
And with that birdie, moves to 3rd place. Well, here we are at the 16th hole, looking at just over 160 yards. Doesn't seem all that daunting, Frank. But 160 yards with 20,000 people, horned into a little stadium in the desert, that makes it a different story.
It certainly is. This was one hole, too, where Tom Watson would send his caddy forward. He would stay back by 15. His caddy would get his yardage. Watson would simply walk on the tee. His caddy would give him the club. He would not go through his normal routine. He would simply just head away. It was one hole that he never wanted to think about. It might look simple, but it's what the player feels.
And with that birdie, moves into 2nd place. Frank, when you get to the 17th hole, we always recall maybe the single most bizarre shot in the history of golf.
Yeah, everybody talks about maybe a hole-in-one at 16, but really 17. And the player was Andrew McGee. It was a good tee shot, don't get me wrong. But Rich, it needed an assist.
Well, the assist came from Tom Byram, whose brother Kurt is a commentator for the Golf Channel. Tom Byram was just minding his own business, standing on the green, sort of leaning on his putter, and you know what happened.
Yeah, the ball hit Tom Byron's putter and then careened into the hole. So, 17. Made famous, a little bit of history with a couple of names to drag up from the past.
That is how it's done right there. What an approach shot. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Oh yeah, birdie, Frank, and another shot closer.
Sniffing in the right direction.
To the 18th hole now, and Frank, the original designers stepped in and they made this hole quite a bit more challenging.
Yeah, they certainly have stiffened it up. The longest hitters in the game, the Dustin Johnsons, the Bubba Watsons, the J.B. Holmes, used to take it completely over the lake down the left side where there was just one paltry bunker. Now there's a series of bunkers, almost like the church pews at Oakmont, that are littered down the left side, stopping that attack. You're going to have to respect this hole that much more off the tee. Find the fairway. It's still a short iron in, but this finishing hole is now a proper finishing hole. Oh, solid strike right in the heart of the green.
Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on there. Easy birdie.
Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Frank, it was a great setting with great crowds. We saw plenty of very good golf. Your thoughts?
I think the course really extracted some of the golf that we saw. It forced these players to play just some great golf. And it wasn't just like a pitch and a putt golf course. So I think seeing the guys tested, seeing the players tested at this level, it was a treat.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live opening round coverage of the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Frank, the sixth is a big, brawny par 5, and it can be scary as well with all of that water.
And if you're a history buff, you'll remember in 1998, John Daly made 18. Beat that? Well, you're a little better than John.
What's wrong with 18? If you break it down, Frank, that's actually 3 pars and an eagle. By my math, that's pretty good work.
But you got 17 other holes to play.
Looks like he's going to have a go at it here at the par 5, his second shot. All right, Frank, you've played it safe. Now you have that third shot. What's the best way to get to that hole location and make the birdie?
The angle of the green really does favor the layup shot because at least you're hitting across the length of the green, but it's a little bit like that third hole, a very narrow green. So once again, that wedge shot has to be very precise.
That will be a great look at birdie. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Been a little too much of that, Frank. Just sort of ho-hum pars. Frank, the good news as you come to the seventh after that beast of a par 5 is that it's just under 200 yards and there's no water.
Yeah, it's not as long as the second, but it's just as demanding. Very narrow entry into this green.
That should be pretty good right there. On the safe side. On the green in regulation. This is a 9-footer. Good birdie, and now at 1 under for the tournament. Let's move on to the 8th, and Frank, what's ahead here?
Big par 4, just over 450 yards. Ideally, you want to get it down by that bunker where it's nice and flat because that second shot, you know what's coming up.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Once considered the best player at the college level, our featured golfer makes birdie, sitting comfortably inside the cut line. It's a consistent theme here at Bay Hill, if you can carry it 300 yards.
Bay Hill always favors the longer hitter.
Great swing, good rhythm and tempo. To where the hole is cut, just about 190 yards, Frank. Well, that's how you play the game, right there. Settles in over the putt. Needs a few more of those. That was a good birdie.
Yeah, this time, that one gets him in the top 10.
Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back.
Nothing to argue about there, right in the fairway. Well, he's going to have to hit the same club a lot harder or just hit another one.
This looks like it's going to find the target.
He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. Shouldn't be a problem here. Frank, you've navigated so many leaderboards in your career. This is the way to do it, isn't it?
Oh, there's plenty of holes ahead too, Rich. Third place, a really good position to be playing from here on in.
Frank, 440-yard par 4 11th. You see that number on the card, you think driver. Maybe not? Why?
Yeah, it's imperative you hit the fairway here, Rich. Water obviously in play left, 2 bunkers on the right. This is a second shot hole.
They'll be pretty happy with that 290-yard poke off the tee. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
Just a beautiful approach shot.
Just a fraction too aggressive. Remember, line and speed go together.
Sometimes you want that birdie so badly, and all of a sudden you're faced with a lot of work, more work than you had hoped for, just to make the par.
That's a good par there, Rich.
There you have it, Frank. First round is complete. What are your thoughts, partner?
Rich, I think anyone inside the current top 10 of that leaderboard is certainly well placed to go on and take this championship.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Its second-round coverage of the Arnold Palmer Invitational. We're at the Bay Hill Club and Lodge in Orlando, Florida, site of one of the PGA Tour's premier stops, the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Always attracting a great field, and through the years it has been the scene of just some championship play from one guy in particular.
Tiger Woods has won there an incredible 8 times.
Frank, now to the 14th of par 3, and how difficult is this hole?
Once again, very narrow entry into the green, so ideally you want to fly the ball a little higher than normal, make it soft, make it land a little softer.
This is a good-looking shot. Frank, it hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
Yeah, you wonder what he was thinking on that.
Frank, anything you do differently from the rough in terms of your swing? You hinge the club a little bit more quickly?
No, normally put the ball just a little bit further back in your stance because you want the club to be going down. Down, it's got to go down through the grass, through the ball.
Oh, I thought he had that. Are you kidding me? He just missed that. I cannot believe that. That was such a short putt. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Frank, nothing really went the player's way this week.
Yeah, if this was motor racing, you'd say it's a case of having 4 flat tires.
Now at the 15th, big dog leg right here. What's the best way to go, Frank?
Really down the left side. It's very tempting to try and hit it across that bunker, but not only do you have to carry the bunker, you've also got to carry those little shrubs down the right side.
Just a good solid tee shot right there, about 280 yards. Frank, what are you looking to do with this approach shot here at 15?
Anytime the flag's on the front, Rich, it's basically green light special. When the flag starts to get pushed towards that back area of that green, it starts to get narrower and narrower and narrower. And that's where you've got to be a little careful.
That's well played. Now a good look at birdie.
It's that sneaky distance.
Well, that would have been a bonus had it gone in, but still, reasonable chance for par here.
Yeah, there's no damage. You're not going to birdie every hole.
Workman-like hole. He walks away with a par. The Bay Hill Club and Lodge features a really exciting finishing stretch. 16 is a reachable par 5. You'll see eagles and birdies there coming home. 17, a very difficult par 3 over the water. The bunker is there. Takes an excellent shot. And then 18 is all you want. We know that with the water in front. That second shot which comes over the lake. And that's a hold-your-breath moment. It is a great finishing 3-hole stretch at Bay Hill. Couldn't have done much better than that. An eagle is very possible.
Even par, currently. Well, Rich, if there's something to be taken out of this tournament, then it's that right there. Eagle. They've been hard to come by.
Maybe he can build on that. Frank deep into a round. Par 3 17th. Water. Bunkers. Long shot. What are you thinking as you're stepping on this tee?
You just take 3 and move to 18.
This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say. Well, that was almost like that's what he wanted to do, but why would you want it to run over the back?
Now from the bunker.
Yeah, just a little splash out on this par 3.
Well, the best in the game don't do it any better. McElroy, Fowler, Duffner, they'd be impressed by that bunker shot. No problems there.
Yeah, keeps the round going, keeps the momentum on his side.
Finishing hole at Bay Hill. Frank, how good is this 18th?
Well, it's good because it makes you scratch your head. If you look at your score, your own personal score, and then fast forward, you've made a big mistake.
Good tee shot, good lie, and now a good chance to take advantage here on this hole. Well, Frank, this is one of the most famous shots in the whole sport of golf, the 2nd to 18 at Bay Hill.
And one of the most unpredictable, unless your name is Robert Gamers. Remember, he holed his second shot here to win the tournament many years ago. For some reason, the yardage book's almost got to be thrown away here at 18, Rich, because that second shot always plays longer or shorter than the actual number. So be a little lucky here, as well as good at 18.
That birdie will help the cause. Frank, right where you want to be at the midway point of a tournament.
Yeah, you know your game's solid. The focus is more on the leader and that you can just go out and play. Excellent position to be in.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live third-round coverage of the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside my friend Frank Nobilo. We're in sunny Orlando, Florida, at the house that Arnold built, Arnold Palmer's Bay Hill Club and Lodge. And Frank, where are some of the scoring opportunities today?
Par 5s are certainly gettable at Bay Hill. You have to, really, because the par 3s are very, very difficult. That's really the go-to. The standard of the greens, though, in Florida are always good. Bay Hill, they run normally at a good speed, so you can certainly make a few putts. But, yeah, par 5s are the place to make your score at Bay Hill. In the direction of the sand.
Looks like it. Oh my goodness, Frank. I think that baby went in. Getting ready to tee off now at the 8th. And Frank, this hole has...
Oh, Rich, it's a fair... is one of the toughest on the golf course. Long and straight.
That's how you do it. Frank, not the longest hitter, but sometimes you win tournaments by putting it in a good spot, and that's where we are right here, 280 yards out.
Yeah, 280 down the middle of the fairway. That'll never get you in trouble.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. That one was running so hot. Third shot, looking for a good one. Solid play, heart of the green. Getting set now over the putt. And he makes it for par. Finishing up here on the front side at Bay Hill with a lengthy par form. What's the key, Frank?
Well, the hole's relatively flat, but the rough on the right comes into play. If you can carry that ball 300 yards, then just take it in over the bunker.
And the tee shot ends up in the bunker. You'll need to get all of this one. 200 yards, the second shot. Doing whatever he wants with that golf ball. Moving it left, moving it right, hitting it straight when it's called for. He's doing it all. And with that birdie, moves into second place. Setting up to start the back nine here. And if it's anywhere near as good as the front nine, Frank Hill will be very happy with his score at the end of the day.
Yeah, the hardest thing right now is to just keep doing the same thing without focusing on the score.
Looks to be a good setup going into the green here at the 10th. Well, he's going to have to hit the same club a lot harder or just hit another one. Early part of this back nine and a good approach shot. Now we'll have this for birdie. Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie. Not too much, and not too little. Perfectly played into the center of the cup. So through 54 holes, a really good position inside the top 5 with 1 round to go.
Yeah, and those handful of players that we're looking at, Rich, they certainly have looked the best players this week, which makes tomorrow look like a real thriller.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live final round coverage of the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Hello again and welcome, Rich Lerner, alongside my friend Frank Nobilo. We're here in Orlando, Florida, at the house that Arnold built, the Bay Hill Club and Lodge. Frank, what are some of the toughest shots out on this golf course?
Second shot into 8 comes to mind when you've got that sort of long water carry to a very thin green. Probably only a club or so deep there, so it's very hard to get that to land soft. 17 and 18 are always difficult for any level of play. 17, the green is angled slightly to the right. Even though you're coming from an elevated tee, it's tough to judge the right club and get the ball to land softly. And of course, there's always the finishing hole that has to be navigated. That's an absolute beauty.
Par 4 13, Frank, how do you hit this approach shot?
Rich, it's the first par 4 at Bay Hill where the water is actually on the right of the green, and that has to be taken into consideration. Just a little errant shot, and then you're going to be wet. So a little left of the flag, that's where you want to be.
Well, that's how you play the game, right there.
Chance for back-to-back. Well, birdies are hard to come by in this situation. So tight.
Keeps him right in the thick of it. Frank, as we come to the 14th of par 3, what's ahead for the players?
Once again, another tough par 3 coming up. Narrow at the front. It gets a little wider the further you go up this green.
Good looking shot right here. Midway through this back 9, could use this birdie here at the 14th. Par yesterday, now for birdie. Oh yeah, go ahead and fill it up. Frank, one of the things I like about Bay Hill is it requires you to hit clean, strong golf shots. And here's another case at the par 3 14th. It's more than 200 yards.
Another one, really, you've just got to play it through the air. You can't play this like an Open Championship run-up par 3. Must fly it onto the green. The great Bobby Jones used to say the hardest shot in golf's the next one. Judging by that light, it's not going to be too hard.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. Putting on a show, this tournament moves to 15 under par. Back on the tee here at the 16th. Frank, lay it out for us. What's ahead on this hole?
Well, even though there's 2 bunkers, one on the left and one on the right, it's the shortest of the 4 par 5s. You can almost take those out of play and have just a mid-iron in here. But we all know what's coming up.
They'll be pretty happy with that 290-yard poke off the tee. Second shot coming up here at the par 5. Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
That is just an outstanding shot right there. And now a chance for an eagle. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Always like this par 3, Frank. Par 3 17th. Let me amend that. I like watching the best in the world play it because it can be daunting, especially with the pressure ratcheted up.
When they have the tournament on, this green is brick hard. A little bit downhill. That's about the only advantage you get.
Headed for the bunker, I think. Sometimes you get breaks, and he got one right there.
Yeah, I guess the bunker was a little smaller than I thought it was. It looked green for that.
Drops it in for birdie. Frank, a chance now to make an imprint here at one of the famous courses on tour at Bay Hill, the final hole. This is where Tiger has done it so many times, where Gomez holed out. What a great hole.
Well, the last hole of a great 3-hole stretch. If you've got through 16, somehow got through 17, you've still got one more hurdle.
So still swinging well with confidence right in the fairway here at 18.
Second shot.
This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Good putt. That's why you play the game, to stack up the wins. Great effort right there. This is EA Sports PGA Tour coverage coming up next. Today it's live opening round coverage of the Alberta Classic. And we pick up action at the fourth. Early in the round, still holding steady, even par on the day.
Yeah, it's got that feel it could go either way here. Next few holes will probably tell us which way.
Well, that ball nestled down just a bit in that heavy rough. Second shot from the rough. It's on the way. Coming out of the rough and right up next to the hole.
Even par currently.
Frank, that's a par, and onward we go. Frank, what's the key here at the fifth hole? It's par 4, 424 yards.
The first real stringent tee shot of the day. 3 bunkers, first one not really in play. That third one in the distance, unless you're someone like a Bubba Watson, you should be able to aim at that and not reach it.
315. Second shot now to the par 4 fifth.
Just minimally uphill, Rich, with the green too. That opens up towards that left side. Just want to make sure you carry the front and pitch the ball well into the middle of the screen and not really worry about it. Once the flag is past that middle section, though, players are definitely going to have to go further left.
That's good stuff right there. Wonderful approach, and now a really good look at birdie. A birdie will send him to 1 under on the leaderboard. Frank, you played at the highest level all over the world. What was a comfortable yardage for you on holes like this?
I actually had a club, believe it or not, that just the grooves on it, it would go 105 yards. It was a lofted sand on, whether it was out of the first cut or up with the fairway. So if I could hit it around 100 yards, I could almost hit that distance with my eyes closed. After that, 70 yards was the next one. So everybody has that little sort of sweet spot with the wedge.
So that means on a hole like this, you were looking for something off the tee in the 265 to 270 range, and that would put what club in your hand?
Just in those days, it was a 53-degree sand on, yeah. This looks like it's going to find the target.
Chance for birdie after that beautiful shot. Frank, this would be a nice way to jumpstart the round.
Yeah, his momentum can quickly go in the right direction if he makes this.
That's good work right there. Just a tap in. Shouldn't be a problem here. Solid par to remain 1 under. .602-yard par 5 7th hole. Frank, I'm guessing you want to take the big stick out and let it rip here.
Saw Rory Mcleroy hit his tee shot here. So far, he had an iron in.
Pretty good drive here.
Another straight one.
Frankie's cranking it and banking it. Giant drives, a boatload of birdies. What a round.
Yeah, these are the days you just dream for. We know golf's not that easy, but on a day like today, savor it and just keep going. Keep doing it.
Well on the green, but far from the hole.
Yeah, a little bit of a head scratcher. A lot of work coming up here.
Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
So a long putt there and just didn't read it quite right. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Has it now sitting at 2 under par for the tournament. Frank, you like this kind of design feature where you go from the longest hole in the course immediately to the shortest hole.
Certainly, golf giveth and golf taketh away. This is just minimally uphill, just a couple of feet, but you can see from the overview the design of the green, and that flag's on the right. It's a little bit of a longer carry, so just be a little cognizant of that. You don't have to hit it directly at the flag.
What a display of shot making this has been, Frank.
That incredible approach shot there.
Frank, how much does that birdie help the cause?
Well, it doesn't look like much right now, Rich, just sneaking inside the top 20. But at the end of the day, that might be the one that turned the tide.
Frank, did you hear the sound of that coming off the club face?
It was like a cannon.
This could be a huge momentum swing here, Frank.
Yeah, one more good swing, and he's going to have an eagle putt coming up. I know you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but that is well on the cards. It was almost like that's what he wanted to do, but why would you want it to run over the back?
Chance to close out the front side here with a birdie. Starting to move now, Frank, on this leaderboard.
Certainly going all in the positive direction. He's in the middle of the pack, now top 15.
There you have it, Frank. The first round is a wrap. We saw some good golf out there.
It was certainly a fun round to watch. There's a lot of great players in this field, and this is such an exciting venue. I just can't wait to see what happens the rest of the championship.
EA Sports is proud to present PGA Tour coverage. Today, it's live second round coverage of the Alberta Classic. Back here at the par 4 14th, and we are ready to tee off 442-yard hole, Frank.
It's called wampum. My Canadian's not that good, so I don't know what that means, but the way I decipher it, another little dogleg to the right with bunkers all over the place. It's sort of in the place where you'd like to hit the tee shot is exactly where that crop of, what is that, 5 bunkers down the left side. So you're going to have to somehow squeeze it just right of that. Very awkward tee shot.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. That will be a great look at birdie. Made par yesterday, this one for birdie. Good job right there. Now making a move and setting himself up for, who knows, a good weekend run, maybe at another title. The former college standout has been excellent today. Wow, that is a monster drive down there, about 315 yards. Frank, what about this second shot here at 15?
It's one of the longest par fours on the golf course, Rich, so you don't want to get too greedy. Green does open up on that left side. You can see that bunker on the front of the green. It sort of protects that right side, so you've got to try and bring it in. One of the few shots you could actually cut it into this green. This golf course normally suits a draw, but this hole here you could do well with one that goes in the other direction.
Well, that's how you play the game right there. Knock it on the green and give yourself a good look at birdie. And this would be nice. 2 straight birdies. Frank, where is that been?
Yeah, thank God for small mercies.
Moving on to number 16 now. It's a par 4, 414 yards. And Frank, what are we looking at here?
It's another hole that'll favour a nice sort of high draw off the tee. It'll set up that second shot to a green that has got several different levels on it.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
You can't hide the flagstick from that man.
He is just unbelievable. That never deviated offline.
Well, after that birdie, has to be feeling as though they're not out of it just yet.
They're not far away from the first page of the leaderboard. A couple more birdies.
Now it's right in his wheelhouse. Good position where he can attack the pin.
Yeah, he has all those options now. With that ball sitting up, you can bring it in high, you can bring it in low. The choice is yours.
He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. Speed wasn't bad on that long putt, but the read wasn't very good. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Frank, this game will drive you crazy.
Yeah, you can do so many things right, and then just something so simple, completely wrong.
Frank, nothing really went the player's way this week.
Yeah, if this was motor racing, you'd say it's a case of having 4 flat tires.
Here we are at the 18th at Banff Springs, 578-yard par 5. Frank, did you like to finish a round with a par 5?
Certainly if I could birdie it, that's for sure. And there's a good chance here at 18 you can, but there's bunkers galore. They're all in play for various standards of play. But the reward is if you can pump one down the middle of the fairway there, and then you reduce this par 5 to simply a drive and an iron.
Nice position, short grass, second shot. Frank, this is a shot any player would love to have. Trying to finish off a round, par 5 18th. What are we looking at?
Well, half the job's done with that tee shot, which was just tremendous, Rich. Now, really is a big opportunity. If you can just sort of flush that second shot, it's a big green. Good chance coming up ahead here for eagle, at least a birdie.
You'll love them, the birdies, and that's another one. That concludes the second round here at this amazing golf course. And Frank, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow.
I certainly am as well. The players have gotten off to a very good start, and they must have a good feel for the course right now and know what they have to do in order to win.
presented by EA Sports in association with the PGA Tour. Today, it's live third-round coverage of the Alberta Classic. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo for EA Sports. We are back on this beautiful day here at Banff Springs in the Canadian Rockies, set to kick off all the action on the back nine. The 10th to begin with a par 3, Frank, 218 yards.
And I have no idea why this is called Little Bow, because over 200 yards, you really have to bow up with this tee shot here, that's for sure. Bending there, you need something that comes out of the gate very, very straight and with a decent height on it as well, if you want to land on that left side of the green and make it stop.
That was not a very good read right there.
Even par currently.
Been a little too much of that, Frank, just sort of ho-hum pars. On the tee here at the 11th hole, 417-yard par 4. Is this a drive you like to hit, Frank?
It certainly is, Rich, but it's a little narrower than what your eye first sees. And the reason why, there's a tree sort of another 40, 50 yards down the right side past that bunker. So if you hog that right side, that tree can become a little bit of a problem for the second shot.
In the fairway, down there about 290. Frank, what do you want to do with this second shot here at the 11th?
Just a scoring club again, Rich. This is a chance to get off to a good start on that on the homeward 9. Anytime you get sort of 8-iron down, you can virtually go straight at the flag because this green pitches back towards the player.
Not enough on that one.
Yeah, just seemed to baby it. Oh, that was solid, Rich. This one's safely on.
This one just requires a little bit of focus. And he makes it for par. Here at the 12th, par 4, 442 yards. Frank, what's ahead?
This one's called Big Boat. Hole certainly a lot longer than the 10th hole, which is Little Boat. Dog legs to the player's right. A couple of bunkers down the left side. That first bunker on the left shouldn't be too much of a problem to carry. But once again, even though the hole bends to the right, you'd like to be down the opposite side of the fairway, which is the left.
All right, Frank, another chance to make something happen here at the 12th.
You could come in here a little low, try and skip it back towards the flag as it starts to narrow up to the back of the green. But anything a little underneath the flag, maybe slightly to the right of it, is going to be a better place to putt from.
Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot, maybe get away here with par.
How good was that, Frank, from the rough?
Oh, that's amazing. That's a masterclass in short game.
Oh, I thought he had that. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Hoping to drop only one shot, this for bogey. Simple, solid, and he'll take it.
But one that you need to make.
Par 3, 13th. It's 225 yards. Frank, you happy walking out of here with a 3?
Yeah, take a 3, go to the next hole, unless it's match play.
13th hole, par 3, 225 yards, and heavily bunkered around that green, Frank.
It is, but that green gets narrower as the hole gets longer. Nothing wrong with hitting the ball sort of in the middle part of the green here.
Frankie's knocking them down and picking them up.
Oh, it's just taking pins out, one after the other.
Made a good run at birdie. He'll have to focus now. Try to walk away with the par. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Boy, that hurts right there, Frank.
Yeah, he's got to knuckle down now, though, because, you know, we've seen it before, Rich. Two putts turn into 3, 4. So make sure you can limit the damage here.
Frank, this par 4 14th hole at about 440 yards will test you all the way up to that green, won't it?
Yeah, it certainly will. It just looks like you should bash it over those bunkers down the left side, but the green pitches from left to right. So the best access is actually down the right side, coming in from that sort of right line. So don't be fooled here.
Nothing to argue about there. Right in the fairway. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look. See if he can go one better than yesterday when he made par. This putt for birdie. Not very happy with that one. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Are you kidding me? He just missed that. I cannot believe that. That was such a short putt. So a tester from 4 feet. So not his best work. He'll walk away with a bogey. Frank, what's a player feeling knowing they have one more round to go and they could have a chance at making a run and maybe win this thing?
No, it's a great feeling, Rich. At this point, really, it's just about whether you can handle the nerves. You know everybody up there is going to be feeling them.
This is EA Sports coverage of the PGA Tour. Today, it's the final round of the Alberta Classic. Now to the 15th tee, and Frank, this looks like a fun shot to hit.
It won't play its full yardage because of that elevated tee, but a good one out here. We might see one of those 350, 360 plus yard drives.
He just blasted that one down the fairway. Out there about 325 yards. Second shot, good look at the green. On the green, and a chance for birdie. These putts keep the round together. Just playing excellent golf. 5 under for the tournament. Moving on to number 16 now. It's a par 4, 414 yards. And Frank, what are we looking at here?
It's another hole that'll favour a nice sort of high draw off the tee. It'll set up that second shot to a green that has got several different levels on it.
Frank, that swing looks lively and strong.
Oh, that had to fly 300. It's close to 310.
Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. Made par yesterday. This one for birdie. Score that a birdie. Just 2 holes left here at Banff Springs, and Frank, another par 4. This one short, 374 yards.
It is. It's named Sarcee, which is a tribute to the Indian tribes here and the First Nations of Canada. So just think about that when you're teeing it off here on what is not an overly difficult par 4.
That is tasty looking right there, Frank. Just a perfect spot in the fairway.
That is prime real estate. How do you get a lie like that? Seriously, you could hit any club from there.
And that one ends up about 25 feet from the hole. And getting ready for the putt. Frank, that's what you want to do. Good lag putt.
Yeah, they can't all go in.
Putt for par. Needs one.
That was a tricky one, but it's in.
Well, here we are at the final hole here at Banff Springs. 578-yard par 5, and Frank, a chance to finish the round with a flourish.
If you're one of the fortunate to hit this fairway, it's very reachable, but well protected by bunkers, left, right, central bunkers as well. You really have to be aware of 2 things, the wind direction and exactly how far you can carry that tee shot if you want to find this fairway.
And now the second shot here at this par 5. Frank, this is one of my favorite shots in all of golf. Second to a par 5 finishing hole. We know we have a chance to see some fireworks.
Yeah, that drive has certainly cut this hole down to size. And second shot just a little bit uphill, but you see, this is just green light. Massive entry into the front of the screen.
Just 5 feet left. Frank, where is that thing?
Yeah, thank God for small mercies.
Well, that'll wrap up our coverage of the final round. This is Rich Lerner alongside Frank Novelo for EA Sports. We'll see you next week. EA Sports and the United States Golf Association are proud to present a national championship. Today, it's live third-round coverage of the U.S. Open Championship. And hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. We are at Oakmont Country Club in western Pennsylvania. Frank, the site of so many historic moments. Great players have made their mark here. Sam Snead, Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, Ernie Els, a long and distinguished list.
Oakmont, if it's not the most difficult golf course in North America, Rich, it's certainly one of the most difficult golf courses. With its 210 bunkers, really personified by the church pews, the hard and slick greens that slope away from the player and the tight fairways, this golf course always requires the utmost precision.
Frank, this is a way to make golf easy when you can hit it that deep.
I must say, I know that first number's a 3. I'm guessing the second one's a 2. Let's call it 320.
Frank, still a good chance for birdie, getting set for this third shot, pitch shot on the par 5.
Yeah, just have another look at that green, though, because you can use the slope on the green to allow that ball to run towards the flag. Remember, that green can work in your favor.
Good chance now for a birdie. That was an outstanding play.
Well, it's almost a guarantee there after that shot.
Birdie putt coming up. Had a par on this hole yesterday. We haven't seen a whole lot of that, Frank, but that has to feel good. Well, the good short par 4 has become standard at most modern U.S. Opens. Here's an example, Frank, 382-yard fifth.
Yeah, this is where you have to play the percentages. If you're going to play a hole 4 times, if I put myself in the fairway 4 times with a long iron, will I play the hole under par? That's the strategy here.
Frank, he is one of the longest hitters in the game, but at some point, you have to hit a fairway.
Yeah, he's certainly not the straightest. I think that was the bit you're going to put in the middle.
He'll need to be strong with this.
I mean, this skill, and that was sublime.
Just good hands, coming out of the rough, able to manage the distance, and now in great position. Came to the putt, excited to make birdie. Now, settle for par.
Yeah, a little change in the attitude right now. When you've let one go, you've got to really knuckle down there and make sure you don't drop a shot. It's important.
Well, not in contention, but in for par. Frank, you played the U.S. Open and nearly won it back in 1994 at Oakmont, so you remember this par 3/6, the 194 yards, it's changed a bit since then. How?
It has. They've actually made the green a little bit bigger, and how they managed to do that, they took away a bunker that used to be behind the green a little on the left side. It's not really made the hole any easier, but it still suits like a little bit of a cut. And there's something that starts on those left bunkers and works its way back towards the middle of the green. The reason why that's a better shot is because the slope of the green goes in the opposite direction. So it's one way to keep the ball straighter. Rich, that was some shot out of the rough. I really didn't think he could even get that on the green.
Well, just to get it on the green, as you say, I think is a big win. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Frank, this game will drive you crazy.
Yeah, you can do so many things right, and then just something so simple, completely wrong.
Makeable putt right here. He is currently sitting at 1 under for the round. Frank, this has been an absolute mess today and all week long.
You said it best.
U.S. Open continuing here at the par 4 7th at Oakmont. It's 434 yards.
Well, that's got to be 300 yards, isn't it?
Frank, what does this second shot look like at the par 4 7th?
Well, normally on any other golf course, you'd say you've got enough green there to work with. But remember, in a U.S. Open, with the firmness and the speed of these greens, if this ball is slightly offline, it's just going to funnel into one of those two bunkers on the right or that one in the back right. This is why you have to respect the middle of this green.
Those greens about as fast as that Pennsylvania Turnpike to the right of the 7th here. Frank, it hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
You wonder what he's thinking on that.
And setting up here in the rough. Solid play, heart of the green. He has this for par. They'll take it. That's a par. U.S. Opens, Frank, as you well know, you've played in so many of them, are supposed to be demanding and tough. This is what a U.S. Open's all about. A par 3 at nearly 300 yards. That's the 8th at Oakmont.
It's not just the length, too, but this is a typical Oakmont green, which means it's not easy. There is an option, though, if you can't reach this green, or at least fly it on, you might get a lucky bounce to kick forward. You'll see a lot of people chipping from around the front edge of this green, and there's no shame in that.
Not quite what he wanted. Tee shot is in the bunker. Now from the bunker.
Yeah, just a little splash out on this par 3.
Well, the stats say that is a green hit in regulation, but it's not yet a par on the card. Very tough putt coming up. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
Come on, you have to make that, don't you? Drop shot here at the 8th. 10-foot putt left. Frank, they didn't have any openings at EA Sports Basketball because, I mean, this is just brutal to watch. And now to the ninth, and in case a player has forgotten somehow that he's at a U.S. Open, the ninth will remind him very quickly that this is the national championship. This is demanding. The second shot now to the par 4. Chance to close out the front side here with a birdie. Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie. Always two components to the long lag putt, the speed, number one, and then the read. And missed out on that second part.
Now it's at sneaky distance.
Frank, how do you explain what we saw here?
It's a mess. It's probably the easiest way to put it. This is a case of anything that could go wrong. Not just probably, it did.
EA Sports and the United States Golf Association are proud to present a national championship. Today, It's live final round coverage of the United States Open Championship. It is known as one of the toughest golf courses in the world. And today we're here in western Pennsylvania at Oakmont Country Club. Originally opened in 1903 and designed by Henry Fones, it features over 200 bunkers and slick, undulating greens. It asks a lot of a player in every aspect of the game. It is a fitting venue for the U.S. Open Championship, the final round. He makes a great pass at the golf ball. It's powerful, but it's rhythmic at the same time. They'll pay a little bit of a price for missing the fairway here because from that rough, you cannot control the spin on the golf ball. Has 80 yards left. Frank, you've been there so many times. Is it fair to say that a U.S. Open is as much a psychological test as it is a physical test?
I think that's a great way to put it, Rich. It really is. People know that you're not going to get instant gratification at a U.S. Open. You're gonna sort of get hit more than you'd like, especially come the end of the week. But also in the back of your mind, you realise that's the way you should be tested, maybe once a year. That's all. And that often determines the best player in the game.
So the second of the par four goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. Let's see if he does it here.
Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are because, you know, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
Steady all day long. That one about 20 feet away. He'll settle. 21-foot putt, set to go. That's about as depressing a moment as there is in golf. When you miss the bogey putt, you know you're staring at double. And it's a long way to the hole from here. Never easy. Did a nice job with that putt. Good read, good speed. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. That will be 4 over par on the scorecard for this hole. Time to pick up and move on. Par 4 11th is 379 yards as we continue backside here at the U.S. Open at Oakmont. Frank, what's the strategy off the tee here?
You're hitting something that goes about 240, 250 yards maximum, hopefully keeping it out of that right rough. And the reason why that right rough is certainly to be avoided is that big gaping bunker at the front of the screen. Green's perched up a little bit, so this is another one where if you can hit an iron or a utility club off the tee, you must find the fairway.
Well, that was a beautiful drive, Frank. Really good position to take advantage.
Sitting up beautifully in the fairway.
Frank, as we look at the approach shot here to the short par 4 11th, you think this is a good example of how you have to be precise in order to win a U.S. Open? Just explain.
A lot of times you're looking at a hole, how you're going to play it 4 times in a row. So it's where you would land that second shot. So if the second shot is played too aggressively and lands in the back half of the green, chances are it will not stay. So therefore you're having to move that landing spot closer and closer to the front. And then you've got to try and play to that spot for 4 straight days. And then hopefully the flag's in a position where you can putt at birdie maybe a couple of those. You're just narrowing down the odds for a US Open.
He got robbed, Frank.
No, it's like kissing your mother-in-law.
So just a formality here. Bit unfortunate, loses a shot here with that bogey. Well, Frank, the par 5 12th here at Oakmont, it's a lot of golf hole at 667 yards.
It's the hardest par 5 I've ever seen or played that doesn't have water. It starts with that tee shot. The whole fairway slopes left to right. Just to get the ball on the fairway, you've got to draw the ball against the slope. The same problem exists with the second and the third shot.
Not quite what he was hoping for, the tee shot in the bunker. Frank, just a slight miss off the tee. He's in the fairway bunker.
Yeah, you just really got to pick the right club once again. Sometimes you take a little bit more club out of the fairway bunker, choke down.
His second shot. Given the choice, most players would rather play from the green grass versus the white sand.
Yeah, there was no advantage to try and take that much more out of that fairway bunker. Couldn't reach the green. It's a smart play.
That will be a great look at birdie. Par yesterday, now for birdie.
Rich, that was a huge putt. You don't expect to make them from that distance.
Here at the par 3 13th, we're ready to tee off. It's 183 yards. From a long par 5 to a relatively short par 3. We're at the 13th at Oakmont, 183 yards. Frank?
Another hole because of the shape of this green that you're almost breaking down into 3 sections. That front little circle you can see, the bit in the middle or the bit at the back. You're trying to play to one of those 3 sections.
Good swing, good shot yet again. That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look. Frank, the beauty of golf, you never know when you're going to find that spark and begin to turn it around.
Yeah, well, that's why you can't just quit on the middle of a round. You've got to believe that something good is just around the corner, and this just might be it.
Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, but it is going to hurt the cause.
Workmanlike hole. He walks away with a par. The reason Oakmont has hosted so many U.S. Opens, Frank, as you well know, is it has a really good blend of holes, and now we come to a short par for it, 358 yards, the 14th.
You can see the predicament in front of you, bunkers left and right, but really the bonus here is if you can get the ball on the fairway with just something like a long on off the tee, this is one of your best scoring opportunities at Oakmont.
Well, this one's sweet, Frank.
Super. That's an absolute beauty.
Now the approach shot coming up to the 14th. Midway through this back nine, could use this birdie here at the 14th. Locked in on the read and the speed. Frankie took plenty of time on this birdie putt. He looked at it from 3 different angles. He forgot one very important ingredient.
Yeah, pace. You can definitely fall in love with the line, even with approach shots as well, but obviously we see it more on putting.
Frank, you can see by the reaction, it has been that kind of week, just a few too many pars. Well, this is a good U.S. Open par for it, 499 yards. The 15th is one of the better holes in the course, Frank.
It is. The shape of the tee shot you think would suit a cut, but because the fairway slopes quite severely to the right, really it needs a draw just to work its way against that slope and somehow keep it on the straight and narrow.
Not the longest, but not bad. 295 yards in the fairway. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag. This looks like it's heading for the bunker.
That one ends up in the rough.
That went sideways.
He'll need to be strong with this. Frank, how good was that just to get it on the green?
Well, from that shot there, you would have thought for sure that there was no chance he had of finding the green. That was some shot, really. This is an awkward length.
Struggling a bit with the flat stick and a drop shot here at the 15th hole. Just a couple of feet. Frank, it has been that kind of a tournament. Another bogey. Frank, this is a point in the round where you really need to summon your best stuff. Par 3 of 231 yards. You know the pressure's building. We're at the 16th hole, and you have a long iron in hand. You can't flinch. You can't take it halfway back and go. This has to be the complete swing, and you have to really have the nerve on this shot.
Yeah, this shot has to be hitting right out of the button, that's for sure. One thing to consider, though, in the back of your mind, it's always better putting back uphill. Well, uphill is actually from the back of this green. So you actually can be a little braver on 16 than what you might think standing on that tee, because a little long is better than a little short.
Solid play, heart of the green. Pretty good putt, Frank. Just didn't quite read it correctly.
Yeah, would have certainly liked that to go in.
So not his best work. He'll walk away with a bogey. Coming down to the wire here at the U.S. Open Championship at fabled Oakmont, and the tension starting to build. And Frank, this is decision time at this very short 313-yard par 4.
And normally in a U.S. Open, Rich, you'd think the prudent play would be lay it up. But, you know, I kind of like driver here today. I think the worst you're going to do is just miss the green or hit it one of those pop bunkers. You perhaps could drive it on the green, be putting for eagle. But even out of one of those bunkers, you got to think you're even money to get it up and down. I like driver here. This is not heading in the right direction.
Well, it looks like it's going to be in the rough.
Oh, that's off the beaten track. That's got 5 minutes to find it.
And setting up here in the rough. Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on that. Easy birdie.
Frank well off the pace, but the true professionals, they keep digging, trying to get better. This is where so many of the legends, from Hogan to Nicklaus to Miller to Els, made their imprint. And don't forget about Angel Cabrera, the last time the U.S. Open was played here. The 18th hole, the clubhouse straight ahead. What a view, and what a moment in the championship.
Oh, beautiful swing, and the result is every bit as good.
Frank, that swing looks lively and strong.
Oh, that had to fly 300. It's close to 310.
Now the second shot here at the finishing hole at Oakmont in the U.S. Open Championship. And Frank, what is the key here?
That second shot, last part, plays a little bit uphill. Remember, there's a false front on this green, so this ball does not land at least 5 or 6 yards on the front of the screen. It's going to come back. And there's a little swale in the middle. This ball has to be judged correctly.
He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. Birdie putt coming up. Had a par on this hole yesterday. Pretty good stroke right there. Just hit it through the break.
Well, it's that sort of distance. If it goes in, it's a bonus.
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Wow, I thought that was in. This for him would be one drop shot. And he makes it for a bogey here. Frank, we did see some good golf out there today, but others really struggled.
Yeah, any competitive player wants to win. We don't doubt that, but we know you're not going to win them all. So it's still important for every golfer to continue to gain experience, to actually get something out of each and every tournament they play in.